I'm about to feed him to the sharks right now. Get him hype right now. Yeah. You know the ground is up. Yeah. Everybody that trains, you know the game. Yeah. So let's get it. Slap it up, bump it, and roll. Hey. Yeah, that's the way that it goes. Ain't no better way to better yourself in this game. You're feeling the growth. That's time on the mat. We put in the work. Believe it ain't easy, I know. But we train for the love of the game, the love of the art. Now slap it up, bump it, let's roll.
Welcome to this episode of the BJJ Campaign Podcast. My name is Jeff Boone. I'm an A3 purple belt, one stripe.
Phil Coors, A2 purple belt, one stripe.
Mark Yelton, A3 purple belt, two stripes.
And Mark is here with us today. He's one of our training partners and an NFT expert. So we're going to talk to him a little bit about Gordon Ryan's new NFT and get his take on what the value of that is. Mark?
I'm sure it's worth a fortune.
So let's just get into it. We were joking about Mark being an NFT expert. It's a non-fungible token for those of you out here there had your head in the sand for a while, and it is the new. It's
Scam.
not that new investment opportunity. Tell us, Phil, how much Scott has made on NFTs.
A lot. Did I tell you how many, when he was going through his taxes, how many transactions he had to go through?
No,
I forget. I believe it was like 1,400 just in like crypto buying, selling.
that's why did he have to go through them? If you keep it in crypto, you shouldn't have to claim anything on taxes.
Yeah, he uses some app or whatever, some crypto tax app or whatever, and he bought and sold a bunch of stuff.
Oh, so he took the gains on or losses or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if that went in his bank account or like exactly how it went, but 1,400.
I think as long as it doesn't hit your bank account, you don't have to pay it. That's what I'm going with. Anyway.
So if it's not real money, does it go in your real bank account? Like, I don't really understand.
It can be real money.
But what is real money? Money's fake.
I don't know. Apparently, I really don't
Or
know.
what people would call fiat currency.
Yeah,
I feel like
it's
we
all
should
fake.
start another podcast on
We
this.
should
No.
educate them on.
Well, if we had an education on it.
We're
But
so smarter with it.
it's all just a game to me. So the NFTs, if you haven't been paying attention, are digital art, and some of them are built on different things. Most of them are built on the blockchain. They have different features, functionalities, and the significance of Gordon Ryan's NFT is you get all of his past and future instructionals with the purchase of that NFT.
Okay.
And his NFT is going for what, Phil?
You said 1 Ethereum.
And how much is one Ethereum right now at this time?
You say 3,100.
$2,998.17 is what it is. What did I buy Ethereum at? $1,400.
Okay. Wow. I
So
don't really understand.
So it's a bargain if you think about it, because what are his previous instructionals worth?
It depends when the sale is.
Okay, let's just say you got it for 44% off because everybody gets instructionals on BJJ Fanatics for 44% off. Mm-hmm. Let's just say that. Then what do you think that his previous ones will be worth? What has he got? Eight out? And they're all $7,000.
Dude, you see him just making up numbers.
He's a numbers guy for sure.
I think he's got around 8 instructionals out.
All right.
And
You're not
so
gonna debate that, Phil. You're not going to debate that.
I can't. I don't know. Sounds good. Sounds good.
I totally made it up. But you think about it, they're what, $200 each. So you get them for $120 each, generally.
Right.
So right there alone is almost $1,000 in instructionals, and he's going to have at least 10 more instructionals in his career.
Yeah. Or he never makes another one and just retires off this.
Off the NFT money.
Yeah.
Collects his money.
Yeah.
If Ethereum keeps going up, maybe. You never know.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a bargain. I feel like I'm going to do it.
I feel like you're going to do it too, Jeff.
I feel like you're going to do it regardless if it's a bargin, just so you can say that you've done it.
100%.
I'm just
because
justifying it for myself. That's all I'm doing.
Big Gordon Ryan fan out of there. So you're just going to do it anyway.
I wonder if he'll give me like
Probably not.
no.
No. No.
Maybe. You never know.
He's only doing 100 of them.
Oh.
So that's 300 grand he's generating off of it. Nice.
If he sells 100.
What do you mean if? I'm going to buy 50 of them.
I was going to say, Jeff's going to buy more than one, probably.
Just kidding. I'm not. I'm buying one. So let's see. What else, Gordon Ryan? Oh, he's now, I don't know if I said this last time, but he's now sponsored.
You did.
I did? By Joe Rogan?
Mm-hmm.
And so does,
Really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
And I listened last week, but I don't remember that.
I don't think
tidbit
you
of
went
knowledge.
into it much.
Yeah, I
but
don't think so.
Yeah, so Joe Rogan sponsored both the ADCC and Gordon Ryan.
I think because you talked about how you weren't going anymore.
Oh, yeah. So anybody who wants ADCC tickets, boom, hit me up. Because my nephew was very selfish and decided to get married on that weekend.
Rude.
Yeah.
Like, when are you ever going to see Gordon Ryan compete again? You're not.
Thank you.
And it's against Andre Galvao.
And he's going to get married at least 3 more times.
Well, there'll be pictures from the wedding. So you'll
What if
see
they
pictures
listen?
of the wedding, so you can probably.
Thank
just
you,
do that.
Mark. Thank you. Somebody finally understands.
Then with your Gordon Ryan NFT token, when the instructional comes out where he breaks down his ADCC matches, you would be in the background of your own NFT purchased instructional, therefore making your own purchase more valuable.
Yep.
But only to me.
Isn't that really all?
World
that
famous
matters?
podcast.
That is all that matters, Mark. All right, enough about Gordon Ryan. Well, okay, it's one more. No, I'm just kidding. Nothing else. So, Mark, you're joining us. Mark and I had the privilege of being promoted to blue belt together. That was
A couple of years ago.
it was more than that.
Exactly. I think it was 2, 3, 4. I don't know.
4 years ago, maybe.
4 years, yeah, probably.
I think 4 years ago.
It was 4 years ago, about that time, and then we all three got our stripes together on the purple belt.
We got a second one.
Oh, that's right. You got a second one. Yeah, you got a second one. So, needless to say, we've all been training together quite a while. Mark, tell the audience how you got interested in jiu-jitsu. What was your story? Why did you start, and why do you continue?
It was my son. We moved to Denver, and my oldest had long hair, and we did not grow up in Denver, and I was afraid he was going to get picked on, and he did. We put him into the academy. I watched for about a year. I had an incident where he got bullied in school and hip tossed the kid, put him in an arm bar, and held the kid until the teacher broke it up. And when the principal called me to come and deal with the situation, obviously I was proud, and I thought, well, this is something that I can maybe do with my son. You know, as I get older, I'm not really into baseball with my oldest. I grew up playing soccer, but the older I get, I don't want to go kick the soccer ball all the time. But I thought it'd be really cool if I could watch my kids train and someday be on the mat and they could be choking me and I could choke them. And it just seemed like a really good connection. So I started it, and I think I'm more in love with it than both of my kids. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of the genesis of it all, was Brody.
That's very cool. Do you ever regret not starting right when he did?
Of course. I regret not starting this a long time ago. You know, I wanted to train martial arts my whole life, but I never did. And now I can't believe that there was ever a time that it wasn't a part. So,
What kept you from it? Just family obligations?
I think a big part of it was just being chicken shit to get out there and embarrass myself and get beat up. And you realize, you know, my first day of class, Katie put me to sleep, and you know, I realize if you come into this with a lot of pride, you're not going to last. You just have to humble yourself and get, you know, beat to death all the time. And that's what keeps you coming back. And I think for a long time, I was afraid to put myself out there. You don't want to look foolish. And then once you start, you spend all of your time looking foolish.
So I've never heard that story. So your first class, Katie, 4-stripe blue belt, and Matt Bully. Just kidding, she's not.
Yeah. My
put you to
first day of
sleep?
class, she was my training partner, and I'd never done anything like it. We were doing punch block defense and a couple other things. And then we get into sparring, and I didn't know anybody, so she was like, spar with me. And it happened to be kind of coinciding with a striking opportunity, and I threw a punch. She blocked it. She took me down. She got in the mount. She cross-choked me to sleep. I woke up a few seconds later with her smacking me in the face saying, "You got to tap, dude." That was the first experience of jiu-jitsu. And, I outweigh Katie by 60 pounds, and this little girl put me on my back and put me out. So I realized, I think I need to learn this. This is crazy.
So did you not know to tap, or just
It happened so I didn't know what I was doing. It was my first day of class.
I know. That's
didn't
what I
know.
mean. I get it, but that is
She
hilarious.
put me out, man.
That is funny. That is the first
I
time.
will say that last time I sparred with Katie, I tapped her though. She's still tough.
That's hilarious. I've never heard that story before.
I've heard that one. It's a good one though.
Yeah. So Mark, what makes you keep coming in? I mean, I know for all of us, it's, we have fun. It's, for me, it's a lot of the camaraderie, just not knowing what you don't know and developing yourself in a way that you never thought you could. But what is it for you that keeps you coming in, and how do you keep it fun? How do you keep jiu-jitsu fun?
Yeah, I mean, all those things keep me coming back. I think right now, I've said for the last year in Purple Belt, I'm enjoying playing jiu-jitsu. Don't really care about the submission anymore. I like getting into opportunities that I have not gotten into before. I like putting myself in bad spots. I'm finding entrances into hundreds of things. I'm finishing about 0% of all of them. But the fun that I'm having, just the creativity that goes into it, is what I enjoy the most right now. Just that pursuit of, I'm chasing this, I'm chasing that. I see how to get to it, but I don't know how to finish it because I've not been here before, but I can get back here. Now I'm starting to find ways that I'm leading people into positions that I want to be in. I don't know how to finish all of them. Sometimes I do, but just the fun of it, it just seems to, it seems that it's gotten, even though I'm 6 years in, it seems like it has grown. Like I see more than I ever did. And it's just crazy that at a white belt, you see very little, and at this point you would think you would see less, but I see so many more things. It's just really cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. Phil, what about for you?
I think it started like right as you were getting ready to test for the purple belt, but like I think you started training a lot more like later. Like I felt like you were like 2-3 days a week before, and then like right as you were getting ready to do the blue belt, like you just turned it up, and now it's like 5 to 6, it seems like, every week.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time in the academy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good alternative. The alternative for a long time was go have a beer after work or go do something else, and this is more constructive way to spend my time. And I get a kick out of when I walk in and you walk in or Jeff walks in, I'm like, hell yeah, that's a good night of training. So your weaknesses are my strengths and vice versa. And sometimes my strengths are your strengths. And, I've said it a long time. You're one of my favorite people to roll with because you know everything I'm going to do and I know everything you're going to do. And so if I get to something that I wanted, it was really clean because you're doing your best to not let that happen. I know if I let you get to my back, it's curtains. So it just, the fun of showing up and who's going to walk through the door, who's somebody that I get to train with tonight that, those things I really, really appreciate and enjoy.
Yeah. And for the audience, Mark and Phil both do a lot of work with the kids' classes and help teach those. And I think that's, I think that helps a lot with everything and keeps you interested and keeps it simple. Right.
Absolutely. And those kids look up to you. And, watching those kids evolve into beasts is really cool too.
Mm-hmm. It sure is. Sure is. And the self-confidence that they have with it.
What was the question you asked me?
What you're doing to make sure that training stays fun.
I only do the fun stuff.
Like what?
It's true.
Inventory rolls. That's my focus. Yeah.
Oh,
He always says De La Riva like a Spanish restaurant.
De La Riva. I lied. What keeps it fun is the everlasting pursuit of wrist locks. That's what keeps it fun for me.
Yeah, that's good.
Just the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but you do train the fun stuff, but you also had a lot of focus on the fundamental stuff too.
That is the fun stuff. What were you thinking of?
Exactly the same.
Yeah, all right.
What
just
keeps
checking.
you coming, Jeff? What makes you want to continue to train?
A lot of things, but the one thing is, I keep those fat pictures of me just to show, that's where I came from, and this is where right now where I am is where I want to be. To keep that in the front of my mind, and jiu-jitsu's taught me so much about life, about business, about relationships, about friendships, and I can't imagine it not being in my life. And I think everyone who does jiu-jitsu thinks about it to a certain extent, but it dominates my thoughts. Like I'm always, whatever I'm doing, if I'm daydreaming anything, it's like it used to be, I would daydream about cars or something, and I still love cars. I mean, I'm interested in that stuff, and I still follow the market and everything on that. But now if I'm daydreaming, it's like, oh, okay, I got here. What entry do I need to go to get to here? And so just that chess game with your body to really impose your will on someone else. I think that's very interesting. And also, a lot of the fun that I'm having now is really, like you said, Mark, getting deep in defensive situations with people who could be real trouble. And yeah, they tap me. I'm good with that. I like it.
Fine with it. Don't care anymore.
But if you don't get yourself in those situations, then you're never going to be good when somebody who's really good gets you in that situation and you haven't practiced that late armbar defense, a hitchhiker escape or anything like that. Not that it's ever going to work on, but it might. But just the principles of whenever you're there, really refining that technique, and hey, all right, I need to break the grip earlier, or I need to create a little bit more space so that I can actually make the turn faster whenever I do break the grip. So, just that stuff just keeps me coming back, So now I want to move on to a topic that, do you guys follow Cauliflower Ear Family?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got some good stuff, but I can't remember her name.
I don't know names.
I don't know. I don't know his name either. But she posted on Facebook. I thought a really good thread, and it was, "What do you think about women's only open mats?" And I'll give my take on it. Because a lot of people are like, women's only, there's no men's only. Well, I don't care. Most men aren't coming to train because they've had a situation where they've needed jiu-jitsu. Well, maybe not most. They haven't had a situation where they were physically dominated and felt for their own safety that they needed to come train jiu-jitsu. And so for that reason, there's a lot of women that train jiu-jitsu that way and have been traumatized in that way. So, I think, I 100% support a women's only open mat. Obviously not from a sense of being there, but from a sense of if that builds a stronger team for the women, that whenever other women come in that have the same issues, that they're able to talk to them and they're able to get them in, then I'm all for it. I think that's something that is very beneficial. I know AJ and them, they have women's training all the time at Indiana Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu too. And so, yeah, I'm all for it. What's your thoughts, Phil?
Yeah, obviously. Seems like a good idea. I don't know. Like, Is there people who don't think it's a good idea?
Yeah, I mean, there's always that asshole who's like, well, there's no men's only training. I'm like,
So
well,
make one.
it's mostly men anyway.
You just make one then. Make your own. I like it because I'm I've been lobbying to get my under 170 open mat going. It's the same thing. You know? It's like I don't
come to that open
I don't
mat.
want. I don't. Jeff's not invited. You're too big.
I'm not invited. I'm
invited
excluded
either.
from that.
Yeah, I'm 20 pounds
I
over.
support that too.
Yeah, man, of course.
No, somebody did that though. I saw that once. I think it was the. I feel like it was the Wudamante guy.
Christian Woodmonte, yeah.
I think I saw him post it once where it was like a 160 and under, like open mat for like competitors and stuff.
Dude, you'd have to lose a couple pounds.
Now I am because I'm being jacked.
Oh, muscle weighs more than fat. Man.
That's why I bumped it up to 170 now. 'Cause yeah, I saw him do it once. That's the same idea. I mean, like I like rolling with all you guys, but
Sure.
especially when you start out, like it can just suck to not be able to do anything. You know, like big people cannot be able to do any jujitsu, but still like do stuff just because they can shove somebody. You know, so like if it builds people up to like make them more confident and want to come back and try it again and like learn shit, then yeah, why wouldn't? I don't understand why somebody would be against it.
I like that. I think it's super valuable. And yeah, I mean, and there were other, there was another argument that, well, your attacker is going to be bigger than you and stronger than
Sure,
you.
but
So
if you don't have any fun, you're not going to come back, and it's never going to make a difference.
exactly.
Yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword. I think it's no different than, avoiding the roll with Manuel. That's a rite of passage, or Leggett. At some point, you have to put yourself in a position where you're just kind of going to get beat, and for the women, I agree wholeheartedly. And I've helped with some of the women's self-defense classes, and some of those women you grab and you can feel the PTSD when they recoil. And I agree. I want them to train and continue to come back. But at some point, it probably does suit them well, I would imagine, to get on the mat with, maybe some upper belts that are not necessarily going to smother them and murder them, but give them a real feel of what, I'm 190 pounds. This is what maybe an attacker really feels like. So I think it's good to give an opportunity at both. Just like, I don't want to roll with Manuel, but if he wants to roll, I'll take my medicine, and it is what it is. Because sometimes I think you need that.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
They both are important, which is
Yes.
why they should have women's only open mats. But like, if that's the only thing you're doing,
I don't think you're
That's
getting a
not
real
good.
look.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I don't think
there's a
anybody's.
dichotomy there.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, Jocko.
This is a good word.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't. They're not saying women's only classes all the time. They're just women's open mat. I mean,
I think
that's
it's awesome.
yeah. It's
Absolutely.
not like every class. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree with that. What else, Philly? What do you want to talk about, Phil?
This is Mark's show.
Oh, Mark,
My show. I'm a
Yeah,
guest.
yeah,
let's go.
I'm still.
Well,
I'm
You guys are
awestruck.
both on the wrist locks. So you've been doing wrist locks for a little while, and now Mark's entering the world. I'm trying to keep up
I love them.
because I feel left behind.
The only reason I do wrist locks is because Avery is so flexible in all of her other joints,
Yep.
and her wrists are not
noticed.
flexible.
I have
So,
noticed.
bam,
Yep.
she taps actually to those. So,
I'm doing them because, and let's be honest, 99% of my wrist locks are bullshit. It is a hope that you let go of me so I can move forward. And then sometimes I catch them, but I'm looking for them in every single roll. And I'm catching them now. I'm starting to hit a lot more than I was, but most of them are a bluff.
but Mark, you remember this really made an impact, and why I really focused on wrist locks there for a good while. And shout out to another BJJ Fanatics instructional person, Pete the Greek Letsos. He's got a really good wrist lock DVD out there, or instructional out there, but he also has 14 minutes of wrist locks on
I've seen it,
YouTube
yeah.
with
I've seen it,
Bernardo Faria. And that's, I don't care what you say. I don't care if you don't like wrist locks. It is hilarious because every time Bernardo taps, he goes, hi. He taps.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and I won't publicly shame them, but they referred to him, Bernardo, they referred to him as the other guy. I was like, do you not know who that is?
Oh man,
What?
I love his passion and just love affair with everybody that comes on is so incredibly awesome. I love watching him. He's excellent.
By the way, 2-time world champion in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, like he comes across like he doesn't know anything.
Yeah,
like,
no.
when people are showing
But
stuff.
that's why he's so endearing, because he's not stealing the scene. Whoever he's got on, he's legitimately giving all the opportunity for. And yeah, he's incredible. I love watching this stuff.
No.
And I noticed that anytime I like a post on the wrist lockers on Instagram, I see Jeff Boone's like that too.
Oh, you know that. But what really impacted me and why I really started training wrist locks and learning them was Will. When we were training with Will, and Will, you know, he would do it, and he would do bullshit ones, and he would say, "Hey, this is bullshit," but it's only bullshit. But it stops you from moving forward with whatever grips that you want to make, and I get to make my grips then.
It's a big part of judo, because I've been in judo for 6 years now too, and so much of the wrist lock is to simply break the grip, because if you are gripping me, then you can throw me. If you're not gripping me and I've got a hold of you, good luck. And so the wrist lock is a way to get your grips off of me so I can get the throw. And so that's where it started coming for me, is finding ways to break them standing. That translates to being on the ground. And now it's kind of a mean-spirited, you know, I see the chance, I'm going to take it. I don't care if you're a white belt. If I see a chance to white belt, to wrist like a white belt, tap.
Yeah, why not? Why not? And they really are everywhere.
They are everywhere, Jeff.
Everywhere. It's, you know, guard, half the time whenever I'm in the armbar position, I'll finish it with that wrist lock, because you don't have to do anything else.
Triangle, I suck at a triangle. I'm a wrist lock dude in a triangle, because you're going to stack me. Wilfredo's a genius.
Some would say that's an asshole move. I say it's okay.
Well, so how did you get into the ankles? Because, you know, you like to play them some too, and I really don't know anything about the ankle locks or the knee bars. I wish I did, but because of bad knees, you know, the moment you even threaten a knee bar, I'm tapping, because I don't really understand it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it all came from starting and getting the Danaher and the Gordon Ryan instructionals is they were so dominant. I mean, whenever they burst on the scene back in 2018, I think that's whenever Gary Tonin, Eddie Cummings, Gordon Ryan, all three, Danaher Death Squad, all three finished and beat everyone in those Eddie Bravo invitationals with purely doing leg locks, heel hooks, you know, whatever, and the entries into them. So it was like, wow. And then, you know, with the first time we went to Origin Camp with Dean Lister, who was also, you know, who Donner credits with really their exploration into the legs. You know, whenever we did his, and he told the funny story, and if you guys want to hear that funny story, refer back to our Dean Lister podcast, because it was quite hilarious.
Is this the one where y'all were drinking beers with him?
And whiskey, yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was, Phil wasn't, you know, but yeah, we kind of got after it on that one, but it just, for me, it was always, I don't know, it was always something that just interested me, because they're super effective. And, you know, yeah, some people argue, well, you know, in a street fight or self-defense situation, leg locks are not great. Yeah, that's probably true, but you know, I'm not, yes, I do all the self-defense stuff, but I'm not really doing jiu-jitsu for defending myself.
So it has to be fun.
Yeah. You know, and so it was just something that really interested me. And it was also something that in a relatively short amount of time I had limited success with, you know, because a lot of people don't train those, and a lot of people don't understand, you know, how to defend them. And so that was always fun to be able to get in those situations. And it's even more fun whenever people do know, and you can just play legs. You know, me and Sammy, whenever I go over to headquarters, and whenever we go there, we might spend 10 minutes out of our roll just simply doing leg attacks. And, you know, he might tap me 10 times, I might tap him 10 times too, but that's just fun to me. It's a knowing how to defend and knowing when to tap, simply because in a lot of those situations, is if you move the wrong way, first off, I'm comfortable training with Sam because if I move the wrong way in defending, that he would just let it go, and that's what any good training partner would do. But I'm the same way. But that's a lot of fun to get into those different positions because you learn like from those different positions. From those different positions, I started understanding. Not that I can do it, but I started understanding the berimbolo a little bit better from getting in those positions and working that stuff with him because it's a little easier when you're further away and you're not as flexible and stuff with that situation. So that's why I love him. Phil, you?
Since when have you not been flexible? You've been working on this.
I'm not dude. My back is terribly inflexible. You know that.
You haven't fixed it yet.
It's unfixable. I've been doing the reverse hyper and everything for it. Yeah. It's big. Yeah.
How often do you do it?
Like twice a week. Yeah, twice a week. Go out there, you do it. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's better for sure. Don't get me wrong, but I'm never going to be one of those guys who's going to be able to put their feet on the ground, behind my back. I just can't do it. Mm-hmm. I've tried. I've worked on the wall and stuff, and it gets better. But it's just my mid back is super tight and inflexible. So. But it's no big deal. I mean, I don't want to be there. I don't want to be inverted. That's not, I want this for longevity. I don't want neck problems. And that's what a lot of times inversion does. Mm-hmm. Did you see that? Did you see that meme? I thought I sent this to you, the cat meme. It said purple belt for no reason. It shows this cat with his legs like inverted with the cat all the way back looking up. I thought that was funny, but not appropriate for me. Billy, what else?
On the leg locks, I was just trying to figure them out because I suck at them. That was my whole thing. I'm terrible.
You don't enjoy them? I mean, you love the M&RE rolls. That's an entry.
I do. That's the only reason I'm. Yeah, that made me wanna. Well, everybody was talking about how Gary Tonin lost, so that made me think well, now I want to figure it out, because everybody piles on because people lose that way, and then I'm like, well,
Ryan Hall, Gary Tonin, yeah.
What's up? Actually, did you hear all the Ryan Hall, Gordon Ryan stuff?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So anyway,
I don't know this. I need to hear this.
So, well, I've stayed away from this subject because my good friend Trey Pace is a black belt under Ryan Hall.
Yeah, that's true. Best friends.
So for everyone out there, Gary Tonin's last fight in one championship was for the championship, and Ton Lee is, I guess he's a student of Ryan Hall, I guess, or training partner.
I read it as though they were training together.
Together
for this fight.
Okay,
that's how I understood
that.
They may be on some sort of affiliation or something, though.
Yeah, and Ryan Hall was talking shit about how Gary Tonin was being disrespectful, and Gary Tonin's selling the fight. He's funny as hell. I've never heard him be disrespectful to anybody unless they've disrespected him first. But he just said, if it goes on the ground, I'm going to submit him. If he goes to where I'm best at, then it's not going to work out well for him. And so, Ryan Hall just came back and posted on Instagram, it was Instagram, after the fact that this long post of disrespect and all this stuff. And then, the worst part of it is he took the post down after he got lambasted in the comments by everyone. And so, I was like, it's just a bad look whenever something like that happens.
Yeah. So then Gordon Ryan just assaulted him. So he never beat anybody worth anything, kind of thing. Gotcha. So
yeah,
big back and forth.
Has Gordon Ryan ever lost?
Yeah, he lost to only once at black belt,
He
And
lost twice. The same guy.
no, he lost to Felipe Pena when he was purple belt.
Oh.
Yeah, and then lost to him. His one loss at black belt is from Felipe Pena.
So the same guys beat him twice.
Correct.
Purple and at black.
Correct. And Felipe Pena has been training for 20 some years, and at the time that Gordon Ryan first faced him, he'd been training 2.5 years.
He made purple belt in 2.5 years?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And then he was a brand new black belt, which was at 4 years. He got his black belt in 4 years.
Is that faster than
BJ Penn?
BJ Penn? Is that faster than
No, BJ Penn got his black belt in 3 years.
That's insanity to me.
Yeah. And well, BJ Penn for his black, and talk about a stamp, because people are like, black belt in 3 years. Well, yeah, okay. So BJ Penn went out and won the world championship.
I'm not discrediting it. I'm just
I know.
The speed
but
is
that's
insane.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, BJ Penn, he moved to Brazil and was basically training 12 hours a day in jiu-jitsu.
Wow.
I mean, that was his life. He's a fighter, and he was lucky enough to be able to do that. And I would contend that if anybody put in as much work, I'm sure that's 10 years worth of training if you're doing that. You know what I mean? So, and then let's see, the other ones are, who was it? Kit Dale was like 3.5 years, black belt.
Yeah, but nobody else beat Gordon Ryan, right?
Nobody
It was
else.
just those two. That guy.
No, him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was at black belt. That's his only defeat.
So is he a Danaher black belt or
Gordon Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah, so he just followed him from
So
white belt to
he-
black or what?
Well, so he's,
Is it Danaher or Henza?
so it's both, right? And it's actually 3, because he's also he started with Tom DeBlass from his white and blue, and Tom was like, you gotta start doing this. So, and Gary Tonin. So Gary Tonin was a Tom DeBlass black belt, and Gordon Ryan was training with Gary Tonin. So he says, I'm a black belt under Gary Tonin, Tom DeBlass, and John Danaher. So, and then obviously under Henzo.
That's crazy.
So pretty good lineage.
2 years. I'm 6 years into, and I'm purple belt halfway. I can't imagine 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I was a terrible blue belt. Now I'm a terrible purple belt. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but it is true. I mean, it's time on the mat, right? And these guys,
No, I get it.
these guys were literally training 12 hours a day. I mean, young people doing this. I mean, that time on the mat's there. It's, I'm sure that purple belt that he got, in 2 years or whatever, that he'd spent as much or more time on the mat as we did to get to purple belt. You know what I
Some
mean?
of it's God-given talent too. Like if I went out and practiced golf as much as Tiger Woods, I'm probably not winning the Masters at 45. But some of it is time on the mat. Some of it's just an affinity to be able to do it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure I'm sure there's that. I mean, he's 6'3", 235 pounds, and fairly flexible. He complains about his flexibility, but I don't see it whenever he's doing jiu-jitsu. But yeah. Oh, other thing on the competition scene, Andrew Wiltsey's coming back soon, so he's back from his back injury. So
I didn't know he had a back injury.
you didn't know that? Yeah, he's been out of the competitive scene now for like 3 or 4 months, but he's coming back soon.
Good.
Are y'all competing again soon?
No.
No? You done competing?
No.
You just don't want to do it anytime soon?
Probably not this year.
How about you, Joe?
I don't know. Maybe at the end of the year. I like to compete at every belt level, I think, and it'll probably be time the end of the year to compete again. I don't know what that looks like, but I'm gonna try to get down to like 200 pounds. I'm about 220 right now, so I'm gonna try to get down to around 200 pounds and see if I can do that. We'll see.
You're beefing
What's the
up.
lowest? What's the lowest you've been?
Whenever I did I was going to get down to 200 pounds whenever I started everything, whenever I started jiu-jitsu and everything. And then I got down to like 207 and I felt like shit. And I was getting sick all the time. I felt bad, but then I thought, well, I've been here for a while now. I can probably,
cut back. Yeah, probably.
Probably normalize it a little bit. So who knows? I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to or not, but I'm going to give it a shot to do it.
Yeah.
Because Roland did it, he was like 225 and then he got down to like 195 for that competition. I was like, yeah, I'll try it.
He got to 195?
Yeah.
God, he just always looks big.
Yeah. No, I mean, he was skinny there for a little while.
Yeah, I think whenever I do it again, I'm going to try to do a bunch of competitions, and I don't really just want to do like one. So.
Are you going to beef up to 200 pounds of elbow?
Probably. Yeah. It's looking that way.
Get on those Mexican supplements. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Tired of being on the small side, so I'm going to try to get, jacked and try to see if that helps.
That's great.
Yeah.
Mark, first off, thanks for coming in. We've been badgering you for a while.
Dream. I'm a huge. I listen to his podcast now, so it's interesting to see it on this side. And I listen to you guys, so I'm a bit awestruck.
Good, awesome, man.
And before you go, favorite training partner? That was a big deal. Big deal because
Phil, you already said it. All right, he doesn't have to say it again.
No, because you left him off your list completely when you named all your favorite training.
You did,
partners.
and I'll be honest. I've not heard my name listed ever on this podcast
Mark,
until today.
There you go. Well, I'm an asshole, Phil.
Yeah, I guess. I like training with everybody.
I was kidding.
Yeah, every single person is my favorite training partner.
That's too PC. And Phil, tell the audience how they can support us if they choose to do so.
Share the podcast. That's it.
We've got
NFTs?
if you
NFTs.
stay tuned for our NFT line.
NFT.
It will give you free access to all the podcast episodes with the purchase of that. It's going to be a half of Ethereum. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to sell 3,000 of them.
It's a discount.
So that we can buy Gordon Ryan's NFTs. And if you're out there not doing anything to make yourself better, get out there and do it. Phil and I choose jiu-jitsu, and so does Mark. We hope you do too.
I'm about to feed them to the sharks right now. Get them hype right now. Yeah. You know the ground is up. Yeah. Everybody that trains, you know the game. Yeah. So let's get it. Slap it up, bump it, and roll. Hey. Yeah, that's the way that it goes. Ain't no better way to better yourself in this game. You're feeling the growth. That's time on the mat. We put in the work. Believe it ain't easy, I know. But we train for the love of the game, the love of the art. Now slap it up, bump it, let's roll.